Hi friends, this is Sarah from Crafting and Relaxing. Welcome, I'm so glad that you joined me today. In this video, I'm going to share with you the fifth in the series of beginner templates. And right across this middle section, you'll see that there are cards with diagonal backgrounds. I hope you had time to see that. In my winter collections, I used this technique a couple different times and I thought I'd share it today. It starts with the 5" by 3¾ inch piece of pattern paper, just like we've done in many of the others. If you're not familiar with this series of beginner templates, there's a playlist on my channel and I'll link to it in the description below. So I'm just starting out with a 5" by 3¾ inch piece of paper, and today we're going to do triangles. So this one's a little tricky. So I put it in my cutter and I just line it up and I cut the triangles off. And then what I'm trying to show you is you cannot flip the piece over and make a card with that, because these are not square triangles. You didn't start with a square. I can't remember the term. Is it isosceles? Anyway, all three sides are not equal. So then what I'm doing is I'm making another piece of paper exactly the same size, and then I'm going to cut it in the exact same way from corner to corner. And I'm just making sure whichever cutter you have, it doesn't matter. There is not a way to line it up to cut diagonal. So you just get your two corners on that blade line and cut. And hopefully it works. If it doesn't, well, you created a new template. Then I take one from each section and I put them together. And you can use whichever side. I could make two cards with the same patterns, but what I'm trying to show you is two different ways to do it that it laid out. So if it was just me, of course, I would have made these two blue cards, right? I would have used the blue and the blue. And it doesn't show really well on my screen. I'm hoping it shows better on yours, but that solid blue or that darker blue is polka dots. It's very, very cute. Then I'm experimenting with the florals. One of them is a little bit directional, and I didn't realize that. I could have pulled it off, but it's really meant to be horizontal. Here I'm getting out inexpensive cardstock like we've done in the other videos in a color that matches, just to make my base layer. So a piece of paper to put my triangles onto is all I'm looking for, something that matches them. And those blues were a little interesting. And again, the measurements on this piece of cardstock will be 5¼ times 4 inches. These are the exact same pieces of paper with the measurements from my other videos. And I'm just going to cut them both. Part of the reason that I do more than one card in these videos is I want you to see different options. But also when you're doing the triangles, you're going to make two cards at once, because remember, you can't just take that triangle and flip it over. If you want to make one card and use triangles, you could cut a square piece of printed paper 3 by 3 and then cut it corner to corner and just flip one triangle. Does that make sense? You just can't. If you have rectangle triangles, you need two rectangles to put the triangles together. If it doesn't make sense, it'll totally make sense when you cut them, because you will not be able to just flip one. And what I've been trying to get you to do in some of these is use the corresponding front and back of the paper and have fun with the patterns. And again, that's what we're doing today. We're using two patterns. I used art glitter glue on this card because it was handy. Again, use the glue you have. If you are going to use a very firm roller adhesive, I would put one piece down straight, one of the triangles, and then butt the other triangle up against it. Just be careful, because you could end up with a gap between your triangles if you don't put the one down straight and then butt the other one up against it. So I glued one down. Now I'm going to do the other one, and I'm resisting the urge to make blue cards. And this is Splendor. Again, I've been using it in this series, just kind of keeping it handy. It's pretty colors. There, I'm showing you that one. It looks like it has like a a leaf, a floral sprig that comes out the top and bends over. So I don't think it was meant to be sideways. So that's why I did it that way. I'm going to put the triangle down and do a better job getting it straight the first time, and then put the glue on and do the other one. On the first one, you saw me, I trimmed the base layer because I put it on there crooked. If you put something down and it's obviously crooked and it's glued down and there's no undoing, but you could trim the original paper to make it look better, do it. Nobody's going to come back and measure your card and make sure that it's 5¼ inches by 4 inches. And you have paper cutters and scissors. Okay, so notice I butted it up against the other triangle and then it's set. So now I have 2 cards that look completely different, but started out with the same pieces of paper. What I like to do is that seam where they meet, I like to put something on it. I don't always. You might see on my Instagram that I've done it the other way. So here I put some washi tape. I've been known to use ribbon or random embellishments, just something to add interest, because the focal point you're creating is going to be in the middle where all that stuff comes together, and to kind of finish that seam, right? If you're speaking in terms of seamstresses or fabric. Here, I trimmed off all that extra washi and I'm sticking it down onto a piece of scratch paper. You've seen me do that before, and I think I shared it in a video. These pieces of paper that you stick all these bits of washi or bits of stickers on turn out beautiful later because you're working in the same color palette lots of times and it layers on. This one, I had some paint skin cardboard things, but I didn't like the way the paint was streaked on those. Does that make sense? With the triangle, I just thought there was too much going on. And again, I was checking the direction of the paint and I didn't like it. Then I got out a ribbon. It was too sheer. I did not like it at all because it really didn't cover it up. So I set that aside. It was a perfectly good ribbon. It just wasn't for this project. Then I got out some washi tape, some of which I've overused, or the green one I didn't like. I don't know if one of you sent me this beautiful bronzy rose gold washi tape. Thank you so much. And I apologize that I didn't keep track of who sent it to me, but it is beautiful. And I really liked how just that super narrow washi gave this such a finished look. If you're using a washi that's not super sticky and when you trim it at the corners, it won't lay down nice, just put a dot of glue under it. It won't matter. And just trim from the back as best you can and get it straight, and don't overthink it. Remember, you're going to have a tendency as you're assembling your cards to nitpick them, but when they all come together, there are so many more layers and so many things going on you don't notice. This is the stamp set for Splendor. It's from Tuesday Morning. I've never used it before, so I showed you the number. I think I told you that Noni picked it up for me. Then I'm experimenting with the stamps in the set and what sentiment I want. So I picked this beautiful floral and a very small thanks woodblock stamp. I've never used this stamp before, so I'm inking it up and stamping on scratch paper just to make sure it's ready to go and I don't use up a whole bunch of cardstock. Again, it's not expensive cardstock, but still, a piece of notebook paper that I have a to-do list on is a better way to go. Then I got a really nice image. I was happy with it. And I'm just using a black Memento stamp pad. Any stamp pad you have will work. And then I put a little thanks next to it. I think the thanks is a little crooked. We're going to say I wanted it that way. This is a beginner series. We're supposed to be forgiving and mixing patterns and trying things. Don't be afraid. And just keep going. Like, if you stop every time you think your project isn't perfect, you probably will never make anything. I, to this day, make things that I don't think are great. I have cards that I won't send you. I'll make them in a video maybe, but I won't mail it to you. I'll make you a different one. Here I'm just trimming it down to tidy it up. And then look, it makes an amazing focal point. And in this moment, I've set it right in the middle. You'll notice when I assemble the card that I didn't do that. Here I'm adding Wink of Stella, and I've sped it up quite a bit. Wink of Stella is a marker pen that has glitter in it. It's kind of expensive, maybe $5, $6, $7, but it's pretty fun. It's an easy way to add glitter to all your stamped images or whatever. Then I'm using a corner rounder. We talked about that on the last one, but I've gotten a new corner rounder since then. This one has different sizes on it, and I've been pretty happy with it. You've seen me use this in other journals, maybe, or other videos maybe, because I was using it on my journals. There I had a little problem, and my scissors have a bunch of tape on them too. I don't clean up as I go. Again, I'm putting that extra washi onto the scratch paper. It'll turn out fun. I'll use it for something. Then I am looking at, okay, how's it going to line up? At this point, I could, or you could, take that stamped image, layer it on another piece of paper. You could put foam mount behind it. You could grab a sprig of ribbon. You could fussy cut some flowers. You could do all kinds of things. I'm just going to glue it down because in these videos, what I'm trying to show you is the templates and the inspiration and not get lost in the details of making the cards. So notice I slid that image over so more of the pink shows. And I'm going to assemble the card real quick and then you'll see again. So I didn't leave it right in the middle. Sometimes I place my focal point just based on which paper I like better. You can move it over a little and it doesn't have to be centered. I know one day I said that I like things asymmetrical and somebody said, I don't know if we can be friends. And that's okay. If you love everything centered, then by all means, center everything all the time. If it makes you happy, do it. That's what we're doing here, right? I like blue. I use a lot of blue. You guys don't love it? I'm fine with that too. Here I am, I'm just sticking it down. And the reason that I didn't use art glitter glue for mounting the whole entire card is it's just a lot of space. And 4 little things of double-sided tape are quick and easy. And that's that same double-sided tape from Tuesday morning, costs like $1.99, and it just goes on forever. Then I got into my stash of things I wanted to use on blue cards. A while ago, I had a video where I shared Happy Mail from Crafty Reasons. That's her channel name. Her name is Brandy. You can find her on Instagram and here on YouTube. She sent me some gorgeous blue Happy Mail and some amazing Copic colored images. She doesn't share a lot of her work on her channel, so I think we should keep encouraging her to do so because her work is beautiful. Since I had this sitting around and I wanted to use it, I just grabbed it and used it as my focal point on this card. So Brandy's probably not going to send you a Copic colored adorable dog, but you can make your own focal point. And I'm going to show you some more ideas for different ways that you can use these triangle bases and build on. Look at that. How cute is that? I like dogs and flowers and blue, so that all works out great. Then I'm just laying the 2 of them out, and I didn't mess with any bling or jewels. You absolutely could. I'm just trying to show you the triangles. And then if your papers aren't directional, these are super cute as vertical cards also, so don't be shy in how you experiment. I show you these things because I want you to have fun. Here I'm showing you other ways we could have done these cards. I had these embellishments that I made before. The top 2 are actually in my 1,000 subscriber giveaway. And then you could layer up that fussy cutting that I did and put on a circle. There's all sorts of ideas. So I hope you enjoyed this video and got inspiration from it. Be sure and give me a thumbs up. Thanks. Bye-bye.